Has Overwatch already ruined Stadium after only 2 seasons? Well, not really, but sorta kinda. Let's talk about all the new issues that came with Stadium in Season 18. Now, Stadium when it first launched was a very fun game mode for me and a lot of other people. I know it wasn't everyone's thing, but for me personally, I really enjoyed being able to upgrade my hero in all of these different ways, making all these crazy builds, finding all these crazy builds online, testing them out. I will say I am happier that there is a Stadium quick play now because back in the day during those other 2 seasons, it was very hard to test new builds without worrying if I was gonna throw my teammates elo because I didn't want to do that. So I always played it safe and just went with the meta builds at the time. I think that Stadium quick play was a very good addition. However, some of these other additions have definitely caused some problems. One of them being the draft, and I'm not talking about the mirror thing that came and went and yeah, it was a problem, but it's gone. That's not what I'm talking about. The problem is counterplay. So last season in Stadium, you had no idea who the enemy team was going to play, and they had no idea who you were going to play. So the chances of your team being fully countered by them, or your team fully countering them, were very slim to none. It almost never happened, and if it did happen, then it was unfortunate, but it was always like a GG go next situation. It wasn't that big of a deal. However, this season, I find that my team is getting fully countered way too often, and it happens all during the draft stage. My solo queue teammates who want to play their favorite characters, even if they're situational, will pick Junkrat and Mei first, and the enemy team laughs in our face and picks Pharah, Freya, flyers, who can kind of just counter those two. Or my teammates will pick Genji, Lucio, and they'll plan on running a dive comp, and the enemy will laugh in our face again and they'll run Zarya, Mei, Brig, the full-on anti-dive comp. This makes things difficult because as creative and varied as the builds are, it's very hard to break your character out of their signature playstyle. Like, if you are a Genji or a Lucio, your primary objective is to dive the enemy backline, that is how you get most of your value. But if the enemy is running Zarya, Mei, Brig, then they kinda full counter you and there's not much you can do. It's not like you can make a build where Lucio or Genji turn into poke characters, because that is not a thing. It's also very difficult for Mei and Junkrat to become poke characters, especially if the enemy team has a Pharah and we don't have a hit scan. Now, normally the solution to this would just be everyone becoming smarter. If they want to play a situational character, they should pick last, but this is the Overwatch community we're talking about. People are going to play their favorite characters regardless of what the enemy team is running. This already happens in normal comp. However, in Stadium, I feel like there is less I can do about it than ever before. Last season, there was no counterpicking to this degree, and there were also less characters. Junkrat and Mei were perfectly fine characters last season, but now are starting to become useless thanks to the addition of Pharah, who, by the way, is very overtuned, and I'm hoping she receives some nerfs. I don't know what the exact solution to this problem is. I definitely don't want them to just make Junkrat able to shoot flyers, because that is kinda one of his weaknesses, but also at the same time, if I have a Junkrat on my team and there is a Pharah on the enemy team, there's not much my teammate can do because he cannot swap. So I'm not sure what the solution here is, but my personal solution is that I am no longer solo queuing. I am making sure that I only stack with friends from here on out. And if you want to stack with me and play more Stadium with cool people who know how to make cool builds and not just play, situational characters into the enemy team, then you should join my Discord server. The link will be in the bio. This is a more shorter video, but I did want to address some of these things and just see what the community thought. Tell me your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What is the solution here? My solution is stacking, just to make sure that I don't run into, people who want to play Junkrat into Pharah, because they're all very much there in my lobbies. But yes, tell me your guys' thoughts, and I'll make sure to follow up.